Great, so I saw a few hands for SharePoint, which is awesome, and I saw less hands for who like SharePoint, so even better. We'll kind of bridge that for you today with our presentation, hopefully. So, as we were introduced, we're CLOC, Canadian headquartered originally, now across all of North America and the UK, and we're going to show you how you can make SharePoint into your viable legal document management system. So, just a quick preview there. So CLOC, think of us as, our mantra at our company is Outlook is not a DMS, right? And so you shouldn't be using Outlook, shouldn't be using your email to store your documents, your emails, your evidence, your records. And so we're really serving as the bridge between your Outlook and your SharePoint. We've been doing this for a long time. Over our 20 years of history, we've worked with over 5,000 companies around the world, and corporate legal departments, but also law firms as well. So it's not entirely corporate legal legal departments. And we're a Microsoft preferred AI partner, which just means we're close with Microsoft, right? We know these integrations inside and out, and that's why we can really provide you with the best experience of bridging your Outlook and turning your SharePoint into a DMS for you.
Awesome. Thank you, Tim. Appreciate it. Can everyone hear me? Yes? Excellent. Love it. Okay, so I'm a former lawyer back in Australia. I moved to Toronto for the past 5 years, and I've been working with CLOC for the past year or so. And I instantly looked at this, and I'm like, oh my God, there's so many traditional third-party DMSs, right? Like where you store data there, they hold your data hostage, and turns out it's glitchy, you can't even use it, it's very difficult to work with, and you can't even use your own Copilot AI and whatnot on your own data. Horrendous, horrible. Many more words for that, but essentially, that's what the reality is for a lot of corporate legal teams. They're not capturing the correct metadata, they're not able to autofile, so it's been very manual just to even capture these emails, because as we all know, a lot of emails, records, they live in Outlook, and because of that, the lack of adoption, not being able to use a good document management system properly, that translates to super high cost, and it doesn't really seem to be a good viable solution. So we go to the next slide. Thank you. And because, I've honestly been speaking to so many folks here at CLOC, and they're telling me that they're using a third-party DMS, they're using SharePoint, they're using CLM, but it's all over the place. Data is not living in a single source of truth place, like in a true repository. And because of that, they're unable to run Copilot. They don't have good data to work with, and because of that, there's also duplicates, discovery challenges, and you honestly can't really have good data to work with there. So we'll just go to the next slide. Yeah, perfect. So our whole idea is every one of you guys, or most of you guys, I'd imagine, if you're not on Google, you guys have Microsoft, you have SharePoint. Why don't we use that, your existing ecosystem? That's in your tenant. You're already paying for this. Why don't we turn that into a true legal DMS? Let's rethink and redefine the realm of possibilities here. SharePoint, to many of people's surprise, can be configured to a true legal DMS with the right metadata views. We'll go in, we'll scope it out, and see what's important to you. And there's incredibly, virtually unlimited storage in SharePoint, realistically speaking. And you could build security, you could build permissions. It's all Microsoft enterprise-grade security, which is super secure than a third-party document management system. And that's how CLOC can sit on top of that and make it adoptable by ensuring there's 100% adoption with capturing those emails and documents in SharePoint with the right metadata. So yeah, that's how we make it complete with CLOC. I kind of touched on a few of those points, but we essentially can bridge that gap. We have an email manager solution where you can essentially link an Outlook folder to a destination in SharePoint and include all the subfolders within that Outlook folder. And on a schedule, for example, every 24 hours, CLOC can run, and CLOC will pick that new emails, split out the attachments, capture that metadata, fill that into SharePoint, and it's all in your tenant. That's a huge thing, in your tenant. Data is always stored in your ecosystem, and Copilot can actually work with that because it's in a single place, single source of truth. There's no duplicates. It knows exactly what to look for. And another thing that I've been learning a lot at CLOC is when using AI and Copilot, they want to be able to run it at a container level. They don't want it, there's too much data exposure with AI when you're using Copilot. With SharePoint, you can run AI on a container level, and we can help you achieve that. So eventually, at the end, SharePoint becomes a repository that you own, that's in your database, in your tenant. And also, just to mention, we don't only help you with emails, we can also help you with Word, Excel, PowerPoint, so you can save directly, retrieve directly as well, and apply metadata on save. That's the next slide. Yeah, here's Tim.
Awesome, thanks Uzi. So, our experience and a lot of the conversations we've had the last few days have been no legal professional wants to spend their day or all their time filing emails, right? And so if we can remove as much friction from that process and shorten the time it takes to do that, so your team can spend more time doing actual legal work, then we've done our jobs, right? And so we like to go with the easy button, right? And it's simple. In Outlook, you just hit the Caligo button, and those emails are fired off to SharePoint, where they should be stored and retained and managed. And that's really what we believe in here. So we make it easy for your end users, your legal team, your legal professionals, but also for you as an organization, right? So a lot of people come to us at different stages of their SharePoint journey. In some cases, they're on an incumbent or legacy document management system and need to move to SharePoint. Great, we can help you wherever you are in your journey. We can help you with the migration, getting out of your existing solution, setting up your SharePoint, all of those things, and replicate that file structure that you're used to in SharePoint and make it look like the environment that folks are used to. We also, because our applications live within your Microsoft apps, whether that's Outlook, Word, and Excel, as you mentioned, and even in other places, we're bringing the application and the power of that into the flow of work where people are already spending their time. Like, we had a great conversation earlier today. Work happens in Outlook. Why don't we just do everything from Outlook, right? And that's what we really believe in for your team. And just that really helps with the change management. Once we show people the way that they can do this and in the way they're already working, we just see really high adoption rates of the solution, and we hope to emulate that at many more clients in the future. We also believe and invest heavily in our training and adoption programs, and this is an area a lot of companies fall short in our view, and for us it's really important. I mean, we spend a lot of time making sure we get this right, and so that's something that comes up a lot in conversations. Adoption of our existing legacy DMS platform is sub 50%. Well, that shouldn't be the case, right? A tool is only as good, or a solution is only as good as the people actually using it and getting the value out of it. And so these are just kind of fundamental beliefs at Caligo that we really invest a lot of time in. This just summarizes this up in a nice little graphic or graph. Like, if you're at the low end of your SharePoint maturity, maybe you have it but have never used it, great, we can help you and show you the path and provide recommendations, right? Maybe you're midway and it's been used for some corporate policies but not as our document management system, but we can certainly help you with that part, whether it's the solution but also the setup of SharePoint, optimizing it, whether you choose to set it up by practice group or matter-centric, we can guide you on that and have nice guides and white papers and things like that to guide you through that. And then maybe you're already using SharePoint as legal DMS, but you're not capturing your emails automatically or efficiently, and you're saving them manually one by one, right? Well, that shouldn't be the case either, and that's where the software really comes in as that last mile to make your SharePoint work for your team. So wherever you are on the SharePoint maturity index or the spectrum is, we can take you from there to the ideal state in your promised land. So. And the benefits you can expect, faster filing. We like to say if you use our auto file, it's less than 1 second to file an email, which is quite impressive for folks. And that's where we see a lot of our corporate legal teams file over 1 million emails a year, because once people get in the habit of this, it becomes second nature to drop these emails and have them automatically swept over to SharePoint with all the metadata and retention and permissions and all those things baked in the background. Well-tagged documents, and it's no surprise that in the Copilot world, metadata is just so critical, right? It's that context that helps you if you're using any of these AI apps today or plan to in the future. You need that metadata and that context, and so we automatically extract that. Again, we like to say that our legal professionals use our solution. They don't want to sit there punching in metadata. Let Caligo automate that, right? That's what we do in the background, the hard stuff, and nobody's going to sit there typing in a tag of like, when was this email received, right? We can extract that for you automatically. The net benefit of this is collaboration and time savings, but also from an organizational standpoint, having your most important information in a central repository. I mean, that's compliance, governance. Like, you need that. That's your information stored in a central place and not siloed, and super important. So, and all these things just feed into future Copilot adoption, as I spoke to earlier. So, and then lastly, as Uzi touched on, the getting the most out of this investment you've made in Microsoft. You already have SharePoint in most cases if you're a Microsoft 365 subscriber. Unlimited storage, amazing benefits, security. Like, we can help you get a lot more juice or ROI out of that existing solution you've already acquired with Microsoft. So. And so from a best practices standpoint, so there's a couple different ways to structure SharePoint. If you're a law firm, you probably want something more matter-centric. But again, we work with our clients on what they would like their SharePoint to look like. And so we see a lot of our corporate legal clients, or in-house teams, they structure it by practice group, right? And so we can adapt to those situations and work with what you have in SharePoint or help guide you to that journey of setting up SharePoint that works for your organization. So, the metadata is super important. But again, we're not going to capture it just because metadata or tags or properties, it's sometimes called, is a nice thing to have. It's really dependent on what you as an organization care about, and then we'll just support as much or as little of that metadata extraction for you in the background and make that automated so you can use it later. When we see people at the lower end of the SharePoint maturity index, they tend to metadata, we'll worry about that in the future, right? But as you get more and more robust and mature in your SharePoint journey, you often care about things like the retention, what type of document is this, right? And so we can just meet those needs for you and support you on that as you get more deeper into your SharePoint journey. And then from a search standpoint, I mean, if anyone's tried to find something in Outlook, and I was doing this earlier, searching for a contract in my own Outlook, could not find it, right? Does not work, needs to be in SharePoint. You go to SharePoint, because you have all this rich metadata, you find it in 5 seconds, right? So it's that's where the metadata and things like that can really happen or help. And so we provide a lot of guidance on that search experience for clients and support that. And so lastly here, a really fun part, because I spent a lot of time with our customers, is walking through some recent success stories with clients. And this is a lot of fun for me to see it come to life. So the first one here is a large US bank we work with out of the Northeast. They had no document management system in place for their legal teams. They were saving their emails, just letting them live in Outlook, right, for years. And this is obviously a massive problem from all the reasons we spoke to earlier. But they understood this need. They needed to capture these emails, get them out of Outlook and centralized in SharePoint. And they also had a goal that they wanted to use Copilot in the future, but the emails, which had all these important documents and the attachments and things like that, were not in SharePoint. So their Copilot wasn't going to return the results that they were hoping it would, and it was missing out on all this information that was trapped in everybody's inboxes. So great story. Worked with them for a long time. It was they called it like their legal tech operations team and legal tech head, and we worked with all their staff around the world. So they were in 10, 20 countries on total for their legal team, and so they had to capture emails across this multiple hundreds of people legal department, and then they wanted to use Copilot, and they layered that on after, right, to go and find these emails much quicker, find all this information. But their goal is never to actually have to go to SharePoint. I want to access SharePoint through Outlook using Caligo or through Copilot, and because they didn't want their team to have to learn another app and go to SharePoint.com and log in, et cetera, to find their items. And so we were able to help them with that. They're now 6 months after launch here, and they're now on the pace to file over 1 million emails this year. So it's a great story, and we're seeing a lot of time benefits already from their team, and it's quite exciting. So a large European auto manufacturer, their legal team, so they were using the legacy document management system for storing all their email records and attachments. And they really struggled with search and retrieval. They didn't have metadata, so they couldn't find anything, right? Those properties or those tags about the emails. And so we were able to go in and not only help them with, from this point forward, file your emails, implement better information architecture, but what about all your past emails you've been manually bringing over to SharePoint for all these years, right? Hundreds and thousands of emails. And so we were able to go and tag all their past information that they had built up in SharePoint with this metadata, so then they could go and search and refine and find all of that and index that. And that's been massive for them. Again, early days, but we're already seeing them file like crazy. They'll be one of our highest email consuming clients, and very glad to see that. And they're seeing great results on the search and findability side of things. So maybe I'll finish off with one more here. Let's see. Great case study on our website if anyone's interested to learn more. But this is the International Police Conduct, and so they had a legacy document management system as well. Difficult to use and poor adoption. Those are the challenges they cited. I think they had 50% or so adoption on their legacy solution, one of the incumbent DMSs. And so they were able to use our basic Caligo email manager, which was filing 1 or 20 emails at a time. But then also our autofile, which is taking your whole inbox or a whole folder of emails, 30 years of emails that someone's built up in a folder in Outlook, move that over to SharePoint, and filing over 1 million emails a year now, and they claim saving 500 hours per month And up-to-date case files is a huge component for them. They reduce their duplicates because we can automatically prevent those, and they were able to see improved search as well. So great success story, and one we're happy to talk about. Again, that's on our website under the case study section if anyone's interested. And I think with that, maybe.
So yeah, if any of this resonated with you guys, and if you do have SharePoint and you also have an Outlook email management problem, please scan that QR code. Not only it would make me super happy, it'd make me happy that I'm fixing a problem for you guys. That's why I've joined this career from a legal career to get into sales, is because I truly love helping people and fixing problems. So I want to see at least 3 phones out. Okay, we've got 1. Can we get 2? Can we get 2? Can we get 2? Yep, 3. I see you picking up your phone there. Yep, we'll get that one. Did you scan the QR code? Only, maybe next week. I'm a busy man. next week or so. But yeah, we'd love to help you out. And our booth is right down there, booth 111. It's towards the end, by the emergency exit on that side. And yeah, come find us for a personalized demo. And yeah, appreciate the time. Thank you, guys.